Welcome back to Recap Kickback, where we are talking about Summer House Martha's Vineyard Season 2. It's me, your host, Chappell, and I am very excited to talk about Episode 7, Flamingos on the Buff, and Episode 8, which I don't even remember what it was called, honestly. But here we are. Episode 8 of Summer House Martha's Vineyard are in the books, and the finale has actually already been aired, but we're just a little behind schedule on getting this podcast out. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome in my co-host, the person who's been taking me through my summer house journey. It's Sasha. Sasha, what's up?
So excited. We're back. Okay. I feel like these last 2 episodes are killing it. We are so back. This is Martha's house. And Martha's house. This is Summer House Martha's Vineyard. This is why I'm here. I can't wait. I have so many feelings about Natalie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We could talk about it because season 2, episode 8 is called Gossip Girls. And yeah, how could I forget with Natalie being pretty much the star of all the conversations surrounding Martha's Vineyard. And so there's no need for us to go in order. We're going to get right to the main subject here. This conversation between Natalie and Nick has been everything I've seen on social media. I hadn't even watched the episode yet, and I knew something crazy went down, and I want to talk about it. So in the past, we've seen people bring it to Nick's attention that he's a little handsy, he gets a little flirty, and he went and addressed it. I believe he talked to Jordan. And who else did he talk to specifically? It was Jordan and Summer, right? And he went directly to them, and they said, "Hey, yeah, you do a little too much." And he apologized, and it looked like he had made changes for the better. But in this episode, we see the emergence of Amir's girlfriend, Natalie, who was not present for season 1, but has been, her presence has been felt throughout this entire season because Amir just won't stop talking about her. So when she gets on the show, the first a couple episodes, she really didn't have a big presence. She was more like, it seemed like she was dragging Amir away from a lot of the drama, and they were kind of in their own little bubble. But when she finally steps out of the bubble in this episode, Sasha, man, she steps out, and she decides to take it upon herself to let Nick's girlfriend Tasia know that Nick has been a little handsy with some of the other women in the past, and that she doesn't want her blindsided by watching it on television. Sasha, what do you make of all of this?
I have so many feelings. Okay, can I just say, so I was trying to, hold on and watch it all together, all right? So I didn't watch it right as it aired, either of the 2 episodes. And then I get a text from our bestie, Bryce. And this is while the episode's airing. Mind you, I have not watched it, but I don't care. And all he texts me is Natalie.
So that made you have to go see. Yeah, you have to go see.
But it's so ridiculous, right? I have so many feelings. And I want to first address, right? I feel like I understand Natalie's position as a outsider that is experiencing and watching Black culture, right? And that might be part of it in some way, in that you might be friends with someone, you're dating someone, it doesn't matter. I have been there, but why can't +1s act like +1s? That's my problem.
That part. Yeah.
And same with Simon, right? Yeah. Okay. So, and this is my real pet peeve. I've had to explain this to my husband too. It's you the +1. You not the
right.
main attraction.
This is not your function.
Me.
You are literally my arm candy for this
exactly.
function. Yeah.
And it makes sense. He's an only child. I'm an only child. Clowns. But either way, it's just, I think that's number one. Secondly, I do believe that maybe implicit, maybe explicit, I don't know, but there's weird biases that she has against specifically the women. And I feel like she picked Amir to date, even though he is Black. And he told us season 1, hey, I'm still learning about my identity, what that means for me, blah, blah, blah. So to me, it feels like she was almost this is okay. His Blackness is conditional almost. And then third, this is clout. Because we know this, and I don't know if we should talk about it right now, but let's do it because I can't hold it in because I'm so angry. Amir has gone on a podcast or some interview and has straight up said he will not come back if Natalie isn't a full-time cast member.
Full-time?
Yeah.
From the beginning to end.
I thought I sent you. Yes.
I saw the clip where he was talking, but for some reason, when he said full time, I guess the white noise kicked in because in my mind, what world would viewership benefit from Natalie coming back full time when
which is messy, but like, ew.
Yeah, it's very messy. For one, it is very messy. I can see people tuning in for that. But on the flip side, Amir, when Natalie's involved, you don't do much. You really just kind of get into this little bubble of like, oh, well, this is my girlfriend. We're going to go in here. We're going to do this. She has done a really good job of making you hella boring, you know, and you and I talked about this before, Sasha. You need more single people in the house. We are coming here to watch the single people mingle. And this is not a personal attack on either of them. This is, you're not bringing good television. And when you did, I don't think anybody was fond of the television that you did bring, because I don't know if anybody's sitting at home watching this interaction between Natalie and Tasia, and then the subsequent interaction between Nick and Nick and Natalie, and thinking, oh yeah, well, Natalie was 100% right in this one. It really felt like she should have stayed in her lane.
And Amir, are you
kidding? Why? Yeah. Ooh, okay. You're right. We got a lot of thoughts. I didn't know I was going to have this many thoughts until we're talking about it. There were definitely moments where I thought Amir should be shutting this down. Like, you should say,
thank you.
Hey, babe, you weren't here. So maybe it's not for you to talk about because you weren't here. And I think that immediately, that calms all this. That calms all of this. You know, if this is on television, then Tasia will see soon enough all the things Nick has done or said or whatever. And it doesn't need Natalie to be the one to go do it. But I think Amir just sees the best in her, to where he couldn't see how messy this could be, how this could come off. He was just like, oh, well, if she wants to do it, then obviously she's it's coming from a good place. It's not messy. She wants to help. Thinking, there's no way you saw this and thought that this was not going to be messy. This is very messy, Sasha.
Yeah. Here's the thing. That people always, I think, shame girls, right? Like, oh, when you get in a relationship, like you changed. This is it. This is him. And I think Chappell, he is so worshipy of her, and he's so like, oh my God, the best person I've ever dated, right? Like, could never be anyone better. Like, this is it. I've peaked, blah, blah, blah. So I think anything she does, he's like, it's gold. Yep. It's amazing. Good. And then the way when Nick was mad and yelling at people, he goes, oh, I'm just glad he's not yelling at Natalie, because then otherwise I would have had to jump in and blah, 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 because you're not going to talk to my girl like that. Shut up. You have no energy for men. You only have your lip service for the women, like him and Mariah. And it's just, he's such a loser that in this moment, like I like Amir as a person, but I just feel like this is such loser behavior that he's like, as long as my girl's good, I don't care. And it's like, no, she started it, because the camera was panning to her every moment, and she's just like deer in headlights. But that's why I was like, it's giving clout. It's giving, look what I can do. You need me on the show.
Trying to get that peach.
That's all I can think of, because this is not normal. Who just comes in and just be like, okay, great. So now you guys have told me the tea, and I'm going to go share it.
Let me go share it. They kept saying on the show that Tasia and Natalie are friends, I guess, outside of this whole summer house thing. I'm assuming that's how Nick met her. I'm sorry, Amir met her, or whatever. I'm assuming that they met as like friends of whoever was dating at the time. Nick and Tasia probably introduced them, or whatever the case may be. But Natalie coming in at this point and completely stirring the pot, but under the guise of, I'm trying to help my friend. It just didn't feel like that was authentic. It felt very fake, like she wanted to stir the pot, and then she justified it by saying, that's my friend. Because when she comes to Tasia, if y'all are friends outside of all of this, then that means y'all are closer than everybody else, because nobody seemingly is a friend of Tasia except for Nick and Natalie. Those are the two people who have
so weird to her.
Right. They're not talking to her that much. So when Natalie comes around the table all the way to the other end and says, I need to talk to you about it.
Yeah. First she's like miming it.
Yeah.
And then Tasia's like, I'm leaving.
Right.
You could tell she did not.
She didn't want to know. No. She knew it was about to be some mess. Sasha, you and I are friends. If you come around the table like, Chappell, I got to tell you something. Bet. Light bulb goes off. That's my friend Sasha. And all the other stuff is outside of whatever. This is me and you. You know what I'm saying? So I
Same.
instantly know you got
And
you
this
got
has
me.
happened. This has
Yeah.
happened where we just have immediately actually left conversations, like, I think in mid-sentence.
Right. Like, okay, well, something very important because you're my friend.
Yes.
But Taja's like, no, don't tell me. I'm leaving in a few. You know, that's not the energy you have for like the person who got your back. You know, the person who got your back, you know that if they doing this in the middle of brunch while everybody's having a conversation, it's important. Stop it. Stop everything. You know, stop the presses. But she also had that conversation on camera. We see a lot of text messages sent. Even afterwards, we see Nick texting Natalie and being like, what was that about? Natalie, you could have texted your friend and said, hey, I think you should know that I think something's going on. Maybe talk to Nick about it. But she wanted to be the one to deliver that news. Even the girls that were bringing her that information said they didn't want to do it. They're like, nope, I'm out. I'm good.
When I tell you it needs to be studied, right? Like you could tell that they were just talking shit to talk because immediately they were like, oh, this is how I feel. Oh, and then Bria is like, I bet you if he's in the right moment, he would cheat, blah, blah, blah. Same person that wants a sleep cuddler person to come is saying this about Nick, okay? But it's not, either way, it's fine. Even if this is all true, because who are we to invalidate people's feelings? There's no video of it, but sure. As in no video of them even saying it before hammock talk. And then immediately Natalie's like, great. Then since I am the benevolent friend, it was giving like weird savior complex. And she was just like, I will do. Everyone was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Everybody backtrack.
Everyone was like, well, I didn't personally see it. Then another one is like, well, I've already talked to her. Another one is like, well, he doesn't make me uncomfortable. Then shut up.
She heard all that and said, nope, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. And there might be a lot of projection from her as well, because we know that Amir can't do nothing. He'd be like, if Natalie saw me looking over there, then I'd be dead, or she'd kill me. She'd literally murder me if something like that happens. So she's like, wait, what? You may or may not have been making somebody feel uncomfortable that has nothing to do with me. I have to tell because I would want to know so that I could then, retaliate or break up with this person, because she would find that unacceptable. But I found that in the house in general, a lot of the girls are projecting their feelings about how they would react to Nick onto Tasia. Even in season 1, Bria goes up to Tasia like, hey, just so you know, we didn't even know you had a girlfriend. Ma'am, that's not your business to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like if it affected you, if it was like, hey, just so you know, I'm not really comfortable your boyfriend be flirting with me. That's a conversation that you can have with the girlfriend.
There's a way you say it, but not like you can't be accusatory, right? Because like at the end of the day, this is still this person's like partner. This is the first person you've met them. It's a very different vibe. So I think would have been like, hey, like, I think it just is going to come out in the video just so you're aware. And I think move on. You cannot like try to get them on your side because they're never going to pick you over their man. Be serious.
And that's really what it's coming down to too. Like Tasia's taking your word for it, Natalie, and everybody knows you just got there. Like if Tasia's paying any attention, she knows that you have nothing to do with this and y'all are real friends. So she automatically knows, hey, she probably knows when she got there, how much that she's aware of. So she hears it and she says, she shuts it down. She doesn't even address it. And I just feel like that was the moment I knew, okay, Natalie, you had overstepped, because if that was your real homegirl, she instantly gonna know, okay, bet you got my back. I'm out here looking foolish. You know, people are at home throwing stuff at the TV. Boo, this woman needs to stand up. You got me. You're not gonna make me look like an idiot. But instead, she shuts it down. It's like, nah, I can tell something's not right here. And so Nick ends up reacting to all of this. And I'm sorry, I agree with everything he said. He went and addressed it with every person who was involved in the conversation. You said I'm making you feel uncomfortable. I'm touching you. I'm handsy. Well, I didn't say that. Okay, then why is it coming up? Okay, well, you said well, hold on. That wasn't me. Okay, well, go get that person. Because why are we doing this? If you have an issue with me, how about you talk about it with me first instead of going to talk about it with Tasia minutes before she gets on a plane and leaves? It doesn't make sense.
How about it?
Yeah. Preston's shocked too. He's like, That's the thing about the house. You have an issue, a one-to-one issue with
Yes.
somebody, and then you go and tell somebody completely different, and you're not telling your sole confidant. If Preston and Simon are talking or whatever, and he has an issue, he doesn't go and tell Jordan or somebody who would never leave. It's like that person would then go and tell like an outside source, somebody who's just messy enough to just go spread it around. Like, go directly to the source sometimes. Like, Preston's one of the few people who we don't see going out and doing that. But this is bad. I hated every second of this. I felt so bad for Nick.
And then they kept being like, listen, far be it for me to take it for a man, okay, especially this one. But they just kept being like, well, if he wasn't guilty, why is he being so loud about it?
Because y'all lying on him. Because y'all are lying on him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he better than me.
Right.
I would have been like, hey, Bria, how can I be touchy-feely when you're asking me to take you to Nobu? And how can I be messy when you're asking me to cuddle you at night? Does Simon know about that?
Right.
Does he
Since
care?
we airing everybody out. Since everybody's significant other needs to know about what everybody is saying and doing at all times, let's talk about it.
That's exactly what we would have done. There's no way. He's nicer than me. And I just feel like they don't like him and Tasia together. I do think, like I said, last season, I think I'm on the girl side, right? Like, it was weird that none of us knew he was in a relationship. Why is he sliding in everyone's DMs? Like, weird energy. Let's leave that there. This season, I think he's learned, and his energy was a little bit funny. And I feel like this is mean. I'm acknowledging it. But I feel like he was trying to be like, I love Tasia, right? Like, almost like telling it to the camera, like, she's beautiful, she's smart, she's kind, she's this.
Like, he's trying to convince us.
Yes, and convince himself. It was giving when they were getting ready, right, for the bikes, and she didn't bring the outfits. He's like, that's on me. I didn't tell her. Blah blah. I was just like, this is weird. That this is robotic. So maybe the girls are picking up on that. I'll give him that. But besides that, I think he's been fine this season, right? And the girls have been, Shanice specifically, right, was like, oh, lock your door. Like, I'm going to have sex with you tonight, blah, blah, blah. And they never gave Tasia a chance. And on top of that, Chappell, they were talking about their outfits. They're like, this is a weird couple. I don't get it. Just because you are not with a man that's wanting to match with you.
Right. And well, yeah, they're like, oh, are they going to ride bikes like that? It's like, no, they're not going to ride bikes like that. But if you took a 2 seconds, but they were already in shit talk mode, so they didn't care. My issue with Shanice is like, well, we do think you have wandering eyes. Says the woman who's walking around the packed villa topless, twerking on literally everything next to the man. I don't think we saw Nick stand up and walk across the room and sit next to her. She's twerking on the couch where he's sitting, and she's like, well, his eyes are wandering. Ma'am, you got your ass in his face. It's just like, yes, he could look away, but why should he have to? Why should he have to be in there like this? Because you want to get naked. Go put some clothes on. Didn't we already talk about this last season? Stop being naked in front of people's men. How about that? Bria already tried to fight you because you was naked in the hot tub in front of Simon, and here you are. You know Nick got a girl. Why are you naked?
And again, no one is blaming them, but it's just the hypocrisy is crazy.
Exactly.
And Jasmine just kept being like, right at brunch, they were like, well, we didn't get to know you, Tasia. Like, oh, that sucks. Huh? So you're going to say that, but you're not going to acknowledge that y'all just didn't try.
Yeah. Like she said, we didn't get to know them as a couple. It's like she really wants to pry into their relationship. We know that's Jasmine's bag. Jasmine is like, I'm a couple, I'm married. Let me find out when y'all are getting married, what you're doing. You know, married folks do that. And so so that's what she was alluding to, I think. But at the same time, it's still like, you're forcing me to believe that you just didn't have a chance. And I was like, I don't know if that's true. Like, I really do think that there's a lot of stuff going on in the house, but if you made that a priority, knowing that Tasia and Donald were only there for a limited amount of time, maybe you prioritize getting to know them at that point. Now, Jasmine's going through a lot. We know that she's pregnant, so I'm not, like holding her feet to the fire on something like that. But yeah, it does feel like they're making a half effort with Tasia and then taking it out on Nick every time they don't like something. They're like, well, Nick, what about you? He's like, Tasia ain't complaining. We have not heard Tasia complain one time, and she has the same access to the cameras that everybody else has.
Yep.
So I don't know. This was weird. It was weird. And if I was Nick, honestly, I would not be back next summer because y'all not doing this to me every time I look up. Every time I look up, y'all, I'm handsy. My eyes wander, and then y'all going back and telling my girlfriend everything I do. I might as well just stay at home with her.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like it's just he's better off. The marathon thing. Crazy. And I think that probably really bothers someone like you because you are the friend that would wake up at 8 a.m. not to run, but with the sign.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When Nick was talking about it, so to recap, Nick wakes up early in the morning after the party, and not Nick's party, but the day that he throws
the day before, his party. The episode before.
Yeah. So he wakes up and he goes and runs a 5K. Now, this is following the aftermath of drunk summer, arguing and pushing Noel and all the people blowing up. Nick's up bright and early the next day. He's running 5K. This is his 10th 5K or his 11th 5K. I think he's done 10 already prior to this. And he's very excited to go do this run. It makes him feel good. And he goes and he runs the 5K. He gets 5th place, which is pretty cool. Because 5th place out of 100. Yeah, that's amazing as far as I'm concerned.
101 out of 100.
Look, the way I'm leaving in mid-race, right? But coming back, I was very surprised to hear what he said, where he says, I'm shocked that nobody supported me. And to me, it hadn't even clicked in my head that nobody supported him because you're right, Sasha. If you're running a 5K at 8 in the morning, 7:30, I'm up. Like, what sign do I need?
That's
Where do I need to go?
Like there's no way.
We just don't get down like that.
And everyone knows I am not a morning girly. But even then, I'm up for you. What do you mean? Or at least
for my people.
If you're not up, when you come back, it's
we got you hooked up
for you.
Right?
Yeah.
The moment you finish the race, you got a text message waiting, like, "Hey man, you good?" That kind of thing. Like, how'd it go?
Exactly. He had to share with them.
Yeah. It like call a house meeting and just say, "Hey, I'll support everything y'all do." And it's true. Every time you look up, whether they say it's handsy or whatever, they talked about that. But ever since that moment, you see Nick really supporting everybody. Shanice is throwing up in the bed at one point or about to. He's right there. Let me make sure Shanice gets there. Who's driving them to the airport? Nick. Like he's always looking out for all the people. Every person, when they have an issue, the first people you always going to see go to them are either Nick or Amir. I'll give them both that. But they didn't show up for him. And so it was just a horrible episode for Nick, despite him trying to throw this party in honor of his late frat brother. So yeah, that looking back after watching the 2 episodes and then seeing how it ends with Nick in this big fight with the girls, that it's just like, dang, it's like, if I'm telling you, Sasha, I think this would have been the end of me. This would have been my last episode. I'd have been like, all right, y'all don't like me.
Well,
y'all clearly don't like me.
Because I'm just fighting. Like, not physically, but I'm embarrassing everyone.
Yeah, but it's like, do y'all even like me? Do y'all even care about me? Like, I went in and ran this 5K. I did pretty good. Nobody said nothing. My girlfriend comes in and y'all take it upon yourselves to put a rift between us.
Start shit. For what reason?
You're right. If you really felt that way, why don't you come to me at any point? Why not? None of these women have come to him about that. The women that talked about it, he brought it to them. He went back to them and they talked about it. They discussed everything. And Jordan even says, whenever I feel like it's going there, she's like, "Hey, Nick, cool." And then they chill out. But for Bria and Shanice and especially Natalie and Noel to be involved in this, like Nick felt almost offended. Like, I've definitely never done that with y'all. So what are you talking about? Sasha, what did you think about Bria's explanation for Nick has been flirting with her? Because based on what I saw, is that flirting?
Again, y'all are listening to two very toxic people, but I think we're also 2 very like possessive people. So I think, we are good at knowing what others shouldn't do. Us, whatever. Yeah. But I think that it's not. I will, because at the end of the day, I would take me to know if someone's taking me to Nobu, I'm going. What do you mean? I don't even eat nothing there because I have been. And let me tell you, there's not much vegetarians. Okay. But even then, if someone wants to take me there, I'm going. And I feel like me and my friends can talk like that. What's the big deal? I don't think she was like, I want to have sex with you.
Right.
she's just like, "Are you gonna take me to Nobu?" I mean, you and I talk about that all the time. Where are we going next? Like,
Yeah.
what's our next plan? I don't know. It's just I find it very weird how folks can like take a platonic friendship, right? That has nothing to do with anything, and we'll just like make it weird.
Yeah.
What's the
And
reason?
again, Bria, if you felt like Nick was flirting with you and it was inappropriate to your relationship, I feel like we would have heard about it. I feel like Bria would have told us, Nick, you're crossing the line. Because in season 1, when anybody ever brought up anything that was opposing her relationship with Simon, or we had to hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Every time. It was like, hey, you're not respecting my relationship. Hey, I'd like the big argument she got in with Jasmine, because Jasmine was like, this relationship ain't real. Bria is telling us, no, they're not respecting my relationship and I'm going to stand up for myself. But now you're saying that you have been flirting with Nick or he's been flirting with you for days. Nobody said nothing, but the moment his girlfriend gets here, now it's the hottest topic out there. I find that hard to believe. Yeah, we also see there's like the moment that they flash back to where Bria is like twerking on the boat, and across the way, Nick is like, go Bria, go Bria. It's like, why are you twerking if you don't want people to hype you up? You know, what are we doing here? I just don't understand. Since when did that become flirting? I must be new here.
Yeah, and again, like I said, normally women like can feel uncomfortable and not say something. Yes, it just feels like this is not that time.
Yeah,
From what we have seen in an edited show.
Right, and even then, it's not like they said something at some point or said like, I feel uncomfortable bringing this up. What we see is, oh no, I have no issue talking about it, you know, because Bria is talking about it with whoever will listen, apparently. Well, and it just happens to be Natalie and 3 other girls who have not seen or been involved in any of the behavior. And so I'm like, yeah, if you really felt uncomfortable about it, I feel like, you know, either one, we would have heard about it from like the cameras or whatever. She has plenty of friends there as well that she can use for support. It just felt like a gossip circle. That's really what it felt like. And now, whether or not she felt uncomfortable, I'm not here to speak on that. Maybe she did, but the gossip circle with the random who just showed up, it's not how you're going to ever fix this problem, if you even want to. So yeah, when it gets back to Nick, yeah, he was seeing red. Like you could tell he had never been that mad.
You mean
throughout 2 seasons? Yeah. We'll get to that too. But yeah, so that's the big ultimate fight. Like I said, for me, I just feel like that should never happen. If you have an issue with me, bring it to me. Why would you go to my significant other with that information unless y'all felt like that was your friendship? Now, when it comes to the friendship between Natalie and Tasia, maybe they're besties. We just don't see it. We never see them. I don't think we see them talk.
You are not like, if my bestie, right, even looks at me, I'm like, great, let's go bathroom now.
Right.
Run.
You already picked up that something, you know, what's going down. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your bestie. You got each other back. You know it.
Yeah. And even if, like, let's say I have, you know, these are my last few moments with my man, fine. My man, thankfully, knows me, and he knows I will share the tea later. We're good. Yeah. But I'm gone. Like, no, there's no way you're friends. And I'm not even saying like best friends. I'm just saying close friends. And you give me a look. It's curtains. Let's go. We're in the bathroom I'm like the roadrunner, right? I'm already there.
Yeah, like get right up. I mean, we have literally done this. That's why it's really frustrating to me, because I'm thinking, I remember sitting at brunch and you coming over and being like, Chappell, and I said, all right, and I got up because it's like food. Okay, there has to be something very important for you to be doing this right now in front of everybody. It's like, all right, cool, let me get up and go see what's up. And then from there, you go and you have the conversation, you come back and you act like nothing happened. You don't go and then go back and be like, well, she didn't want to talk to me about it. Obviously, y'all ain't that close if she didn't want to talk to you about it. So woo, a mess.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't, because that to me is a dead giveaway that she should have stopped and said nothing. Because because if I ask someone to come with me, and everyone knows I'm the tea friend, so if you don't do that, it's curtains. I will never share anything in life with you. I'd be like, great, I hope you look fucking stupid.
Right, I try my best, but throughout these 2 episodes, Natalie is somebody who I guess she is kind of like the viewer at home that is now in the house, because she's watched season 1 And now she's in there kind of spectating, right? She's not in any of the drama, but she's kind of like, oh, that's what's happening. Oh, and that's what I missed. Oh, and that's who's fighting. Because every time the camera pans to Natalie, she's lacing somebody else up on the news. Because she is the hotline to discuss what happens between Summer and Noelle in episode 7. So when we left on episode 6, they were arguing, they're fighting, and Noelle is getting the brunt of all of Summer's anger here. And we know Noelle has done nothing to earn this. So Noelle, of course, is starting to look at Summer and say, well, something's obviously going wrong in your life for you to be taking this out on me. And she eventually even asked Summer, like, hey, do you even like me? Because what's going on? Because for you to be feeling these like intense feelings toward me, who's someone who I've always clicked with, something must have happened. But Summer keeps saying, like, no, she's going through a lot. We know her grandmother is sick. Her mom and her are working on their estranged relationship. We know it's probably stressful being in the house with Alex after all, the drama with them. But it just still doesn't feel like this is resolved, right? Like, I don't think they're ever going to mend this particular friendship with Noelle and Summer after this one.
Yeah. I just want them all to go to like friend therapy,
right?
And not together, but I just feel like no one is being girls, right? Like Summer seems to have a good trio with Jordan and Preston, and
at least we thought.
Thank you. And then she's like, no, that's too deep for me. And can I just say, I have definitely been in that position where I feel like I make deep friendships really quickly, but then like I don't have to like party friends, quote unquote, all the time. And like somehow I sometimes get into like let's like be deep and talk friends. And then I see those like friends that go on trips all the time and they're just like easy breezy, whatever, not just on the outside. And I get into that grass is greener type thing. And then I've had to like check myself to be like, what do you mean? Like, but you have real friends and that's great. So I think that there is that moment, but I just need Summer to like look past herself a little bit. Yeah. And I think this is an issue with all these girls where it's either that they've, just kind of been put together by the show, which is why there isn't really that deep friendship. And, Jasmine is the main connector.
Glue,
yeah. And she's not there. So maybe that's why they're a little bit like this, but it's just, I just feel like there isn't really a lot of sisterhood between them. And they just kind of use every moment to throw each other under the bus. And like, it's not just specifically, I feel like just Summer and Noelle, even though theirs is like currently in the spotlight, but I feel like it's everyone. And I just feel like they're not like being girls.
What did you think about the way Noelle handled the Summer situation? Because she really was the person who got the majority of drunk Summer, or Hurricane Summer, or whatever the show called her. Noelle is on the receiving end of all that. How do you think she handled it?
I think she's right in that there's no reasoning with a drunk person that's feeling all those feelings, right? And I think she should also reflect on the fact that this girl keeps being like, sorry, I didn't tell you that he was inside me, like over and over again. I just feel like that's not necessarily someone that's your bestie, and she should kind of hold this person at an arm's length and be the like fun, and that's it person. I don't know how you feel, but I feel like the older you get, the easier it is to distinguish people. And you could be like, oh, this is like not someone I can be like cool with. Or this is someone I can only be surface friends with. This is someone I can only blah, blah, blah. And I think that's where I need Noelle to get to with Summer.
Yeah, it feels like she did, though. It feels like she landed on, like, he says, like, I can forgive, but I'm not forgetting this, right? Because it could happen again. And there's a world where Noelle didn't appreciate any of that to the point where she maybe said something to the production, because Summer did push her. We've seen people get pushed in this house before and get removed, and we'll get to her in just a little bit. But for that to happen to Noelle, she's like, you remember putting your hands on me, right? And Summer, of course, doesn't remember. Anybody who's getting drunk and literally like physically touching people, at that point, I think you have to be aware that this could happen again. And so Summer eventually will, go and try to mend fences with everybody. She works her way around the house. I think the only person who wasn't open to talking to her was Bria. It was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to force myself to do this.
because this is the second time
Mhm.
also.
Yeah, this is the second time. So this is Summer trying to kind of like on her apology tour. We do see the conversation between Preston and Jordan and
Yeah.
Summer, like two separate one-on-ones where they both ask her. So Natalie, who hasn't even been here, told us that you find it difficult being friends with us. And she does. She goes up and apologizes. I think she really does take accountability and says, no, that's
Mhm.
me going through my stuff. I'll say this on the opposite end, I am the fun friend that people have, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm the one who's always down for the party and stuff like that. But even then on that side, sometimes you do feel envious of the people who do have those deep relationships. You're like, yeah, everybody only calls me when it's time for a trip. But then it's like when something is actually like matters to me, where is everybody? Right. And so I think maybe that's a little bit why I related to Nick so much in this episode, because when he has his 5K or when he's throwing his party, he's waking up that morning like, man, the house is a mess, all this other stuff. I really need help. And when he goes to asking for people from help, he immediately gets feedback from Bria, who's like, why do I have to help you? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'll help you, but nobody helped me. And then we
Mhm.
see the cutaway to where people are actually helping Bria with her party. That would drive me crazy. Like, yes, I did help you. Why won't you help me?
Do do people really act like this is my question, or is it for
Right.
TV? Because in my mind, if someone helped me, like, I have to help them so hard, like,
Right.
they
I'll
they
never
will
forget it.
never,
Yeah.
like
You can't
ever
hold it over
ask
my
for my help.
head. Yeah, you can't hold it over my head anymore. I never want to hear about it. And also, like, you did something for me. How do I show my gratitude? But
Yeah.
I'm waiting on you to need me. You know what I'm saying? So I can pay it back. I don't know.
Agreed.
That's just
So
not
it's
how
just
I
but
operate.
again, people like this exist. I just feel like there's a little bit of maybe selective memory and entitlement, right? Of like, but I just asked you to move one tripod. I didn't ask you to clean bathrooms, right? Like it's in their mind, not apples to apples. But again, he didn't
Mhm.
say scrub the toilets. He just said like
Right.
Windex the glass and make sure,
Yeah.
whatever, the toilet paper. That's normal because at the end of the day, I feel like Amir and Preston are the only ones cleaning. They should be the ones hosting the house meeting
Yeah, about the this house is a mess all the time, and we always see Amir and Preston randomly cleaning up.
early
And
in the morning.
this is me. I'm going to pick on the women right now. I've been in plenty of communal spaces where we are sharing bathrooms and stuff like that. If there's a dirty bathroom, listen, the women be having that stuff everywhere. Okay, it be everywhere. So it's like, Bria, let's be honest. At least there's something that you could feel like, okay, maybe I could clean that up when it comes to the
Yeah.
bathroom. He's not asking you to scrub the toilet. He's just saying, hey, man, could you maybe get all the eyelashes off you know what I'm saying? Like just normal stuff, man. We got people
Mhm.
coming over. And it wasn't just for Tasia. This is for all the guests. They threw a massive party, Sasha. If you know a bunch of people are coming to your house, it doesn't matter who's throwing the party. I'm not gonna let them see us looking nasty. We gotta clean up.
That's my point. It's just I feel like that is the most normal thing. You are unfortunately correct about women and bathrooms. I am said woman. So but I've really been trying to like keep it all in my bed. Whatever. There's ways around it. But yeah, I think that if you're sharing a house, it's impossible. It's curtains.
Right. It's
And for
too
me,
much.
it's hair. Like, oh, my hair is everywhere. I'm worse than a dog. Like Milo has nothing on me when it comes to shedding hair, but you have to be cognizant and you just gotta clean up after yourself. And I just feel like you just have to shut up sometimes and be like, what is it that you need? Go to your friends, not
Mhm.
Natalie, and just like do a little gossip session and move
Yeah.
on with your day.
And move on. And we do see Bria sneak up upstairs and talking to Shanice like, "Who? Well, get a maid if you need." It's like, okay, Bria, you also are not required to do any of this help, right? Like Nick is
Yes.
not your boss. So if you really felt some type of way, be like, "Hey, I really don't feel like cleaning the bathroom. Can somebody else do it?" And go on about your day. I would much rather you do that. I would much rather you tell me to my face, "Hey, I just ain't got it in me today. I don't really feel like
Mhm.
cleaning up." Then for me to get home and watch it on television, and I ask you something as simple as wipe the mirror and then make sure there's toilet tissue on the roll. Say,
Like, you're
well,
not even cleaning the toilet bowl, which really is horrible, and I do think
right,
that that's not fair, but outside of that someone has to
right.
clean it if you're using it, I don't know. A chore
Also,
chart.
Also, the toilet tissue on the roll benefits everyone. It literally benefits everyone, but it benefits the women more. You use toilet tissue more than men do. Just do. It's like, bruh,
Ah,
that you should be the first one be like, let me make sure there's toilet tissue in there. You know what I'm saying? So, because you don't want to walk
I'm
in there
very
and ain't
particular.
none.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know that I'm the cleanest person necessarily, but I'm aware. Like I'm not dirty in that I'm messy, but I'm not dirty.
Yeah.
And there's a distinction. But I just feel like it's so easy to be like, he's stressed, his girl is coming. That's it. But
Mhm.
I think when you inherently don't like someone, like think
Yeah.
about as someone that irks us, we're just not gonna help them or clean for
Right.
them. But I'm
And
not gonna be a dummy and expect them to help me either.
well, of course she throws this fit after they have already helped her with her thing,
Yes.
To Bria's point though, to her credit, she is upset about Simon. So the
Yep.
night before, her and Simon, she's been talking to him, and it's just they're not on the same page right now, and it will get worse in episode 8 because Nick does throw his party. Everybody's arriving. We see the arrival of all of his friends from college. We see Mariah even show up. Eventually, the tall guy, whatever his name
I
is,
forgot his name. I literally was
Yeah.
just looking at my notes.
I was like, what
Oh
is
my
this guy's
gosh.
name?
Whatever.
But he
Yeah.
shows up to Phil. Phil
Phil.
shows up.
I was like,
Yeah.
it's not his name,
Yeah.
Phil.
It's too many people. Too many people.
Wait,
But yeah.
Chappell, did you see the special guest?
No. What special guest?
Okay. So I didn't mean to cut you off, sorry, but I just got too
No.
excited. I don't want to forget it. So there is a moment with our bestie Natalie and Amir. So Amir's like, Jordan.
Oh yeah. The other Jordan.
Did you know who he was talking about?
No.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
He is talking about Destiny from Love Island.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
Now
if
we
you
got
have
action.
seen her before, because I was like, oh my god, I've seen her. Who the hell is this? Who the hell is this?
Mhm.
It slipped my mind, and it's Destiny, and turns out she's an AKA, which is crazy.
Right. I see it now. I'm looking at the on Google. I was like, yeah, that's the lady who was walking around. That's other Jordan.
Yes, which I was like, they don't even look alike. Stop.
I think they were just dressed in the same type of like
Yeah, white,
dress.
I think.
Yeah, and not Jordan walks by. Destiny walks by, and oh man, this is tough. Amir says, "Oh, Jordan," and he's like, "Oh, that's not Jordan." It turns back around, and like clockwork, the attitude comes out of Natalie, like, "Oh, what was that about? What do you mean? Oh, that's Jordan." I said, "Dang." Is it that tough around here? Like y'all strict? You can't even notice somebody walking by, especially somebody your friend. Sasha am I tripping?
No, and the way she freaks out, Jordan didn't want your man.
We already saw that episode, ma'am. You don't have to bring that up.
That comment about the wigs.
Yeah, he's like, everybody got all these wigs.
No,
like,
Jordan has so many wigs. You could never tell.
So many wigs.
Jordan has told us.
She doesn't like to talk about the wigs. Hair. Right. Exactly.
What is wrong with you?
I learned a long time ago, and I've said this on different podcasts. When it comes to Black women and their hair, I just politely move out the way. That is none of my business. If anything, I'd have been like, Jordan changes her hair up sometimes, so I thought it was her.
That's
but to be like she has so many, right? But to be like she has so many different wigs, it's like, if
Jordan is in a shady way, right?
Well, it was more like, I don't know if it was shady, but it was definitely kind of like flippant. Like, no, but she just has so many wigs. So I just, I can't keep up with that. And I'm thinking, Jordan, just what we know about Jordan, she probably wouldn't appreciate that. That's all I'm saying. And so, but he's doing this because if he doesn't, Natalie might get mad, and God forbid Natalie's upset about anything ever. So he got to make sure that she knows, like, no. It's not, I wasn't looking at anybody else. I would never do that. It was just, it's too many wigs. Anybody would have made that mistake. It's like, bro,
like a puppy, like a wounded puppy. Also, I forgot to bring up, sorry, because it's in my notes. Did you see how she was playing with Tasia's hair when she was talking about her?
No, I didn't see it.
She was playing with her hair like this. And mind you, first of all, Tasia has beautiful curls, and I was like, "You're flattening them. Like, stop." There is a way to, with hair that's coiled like that. It's just stop it. And
Just
she just
stop.
kept being like this, like. And again, I think you could do that to because if my hair is styled, I don't want someone touching it because it's all.
Right.
First of all, I touch my hair so much and it's horrible. And on top of that, now someone else is doing it. Absolutely not. And she just it felt like she was flattening it. But she was like, I need to tell you about Nick, blah, blah, blah. And she's just and I said, you're messing up her curls. And it's the worst when it's in the back because you can't even see it to fix it. So it's I just felt like I needed to bring that up and I forgot. So
you just don't touch people's hair. Yeah.
It's weird.
My niece has the most amazing afro, and whenever she walks up on me, I'm like, "Oh my god, I love your hair! I love your hair! I love your hair!" My sister said, "Like you sound like them white folks that be touching people's hair." I was like, "That's my number one. That is my niece, and I will comment on her beautiful hair all I want. Even though you her mama, I'm still gonna say her hair is beautiful. But I also am not reaching over and grabbing a handful of it. So there's a slight difference there. Nobody wants your greasy, dirty hands or your clean hands, for that matter, or anything in their hair.
Correct.
So whatever. The party is on about to start, obviously, but we still have some people that we need to touch base with. Mariah is there, and we know that Mariah holds Amir accountable for basically getting kicked out of the house in season 1. They have their big dispute between Mariah and Bria about who put Milo's dog clothes in the laundry with the people clothes, and she's not happy. She says it's disgusting. Her and Bria get into it. She puts her hands on Bria. She gets removed. But in the off season, she's been texting Amir, and they've been talking about it. And Amir is like, yeah, I'm sorry that, the clothes got put in there, but I'm not sorry that you got put out the house. Like, that's not my problem. I didn't do that. And so when they finally sit down and have that conversation, Mariah, it does feel like she wants him to take accountability for, if you had not put the dog clothes in there, then I wouldn't have had to do what I did to Bria. Thus, I would still be in the house. So in summation, it's your fault that happened. And I'm like, I don't think that's not how I'm viewing it. Sasha,
yep.
Mariah says he could have done it on purpose. Do you get any of this? Or again, this is all up for interpretation. How do you feel about Mariah's interpretation of all of this?
I hate not agreeing with the girlies. You see what I'm saying? It's killing me. But yeah, I don't think he did it on purpose. I really think he is that aloof. And that he just might do something and not realize it.
Yeah. And even then, it's so for me, I would have pissed Mariah off very easily because when I see clothes that need to be washed, putting them in the same laundry hamper does not for me, it's all going to get washed eventually. It's all going to get in the water and the soap and potentially the bleach. So whatever dog germs there are, that's what the point of the washer is. So it would have never occurred to me to go and make sure that the dog clothes aren't in the pile of clothes. I would have just thrown the clothes in the pile and call it a day. Now, I also don't have a dog, so it doesn't occur to me. And if I had a dog, it wouldn't be wearing clothes. My dog would be an outside dog. Trust me, I've thought about this. So everybody
you and your grandma's dog kills.
Did you see it? It's huge.
About you.
It's huge. That my granny has, for the people who don't know, my grandmother has a large dog. It's a puppy, but it is large. It has tackled my granny. And so me and the dog do not see eye to eye because I'm like, hey, you're on borrowed time, buddy. But if my granny was like, I bought the dog a coat, I'm like, Grandma, stop it. Buy people clothes for people. If you want to buy your dog clothes, that's cool. But why am I supposed to know dog etiquette when it comes to clothes for dogs? You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's thinking, oh yeah, let me make sure Milo's darks and whites are separated. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. This kind of
I just think it was this is not excusing behavior. This is just I feel like sometimes boys be dumb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I said. I would have made her mad because I'd have been like, I'm sorry, all the clothes were going to get washed. And first of all, why does the dog have clothes? Let's start there.
This is a boy thing to do. That's why I can't even hold it again. It's more that she shouldn't have been kicked out, but that's another conversation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you push me and I feel like I'm unsafe, because I think maybe Bria is feeling like I'm never gonna let that go, so she has to go, right? Yeah. And so maybe that's fair, but again, Mariah, her reaction to whatever happened is still her responsibility.
Yes,
Like,
correct.
because had she said, "Hey, house meeting, real quick, who put the dog's hair, the dog stuff with the clothes, right?" And Amir raises his hand and says, "It was me," and she says, "Cool, could you not do that anymore?"
Yep.
Problem solved. But going to to Bria and saying, Maria, so going to Bria and being like, you put your dog's clothes in there with the clean clothes, like what's going on? Boom. Ultimate shutdown. It stops there. We do know that Mariah is allergic to dog hair as well. So she's not a big fan of Milo from the beginning of that season. But again, your reaction to Bria is not Amir's fault. If anything, if you had acted a little bit more measured, you would have caught Amir in the corner, kind of raising his hand when the conversation came up, and maybe you could have took your anger out on him because he's the one who actually did it. So a year later, asking for him to basically apologize and say like, "Nah, it was my fault that you went home." I'm like, I'm not moved by this. Like, God,
I do think that the way he moves with women is interesting compared to the way he talks to men. And both can be true in that I don't think he could do anything because he's a full-time cast member and you're not anymore. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, she just wants him to apologize for it. But again, what is he supposed to say? Like, I'm sorry that I got you kicked out the house, because that's not the case. You got you kicked out the house. You did. And then
your friend should have stood up for you.
Right. If not you, Jasmine got you kicked out the house because she was the one who asked you to leave. If not Jasmine, Bria got you kicked out the house because she was the one you hit. She was the one who bought the dog. If anything, I made a mistake. Accusing me of doing it on purpose is wild. I think that's probably the thing that, like, it makes me look at Amir kind of like, well, why does Mariah feel like you could have did it on purpose? Like, what energy are you giving off? Yeah, because for me, you would, like you just said, Sasha, boys be dumb. If I did that, you're like, Chappell is stupid. He's a boy. Stop it. Like, he did not do that on purpose.
You just have to be like, that was dumb. Don't do it again. And wash your clothes again. My God, you're not even paying for electricity.
Right. Wash the clothes again. The soap will get that's the point of soap. It is literally the point. Like, so.
But again, it's just I think you're right. There is a way to like make it into content without fighting people. That's all. But also I look because Mariah even goes, "Aren't you like a house person?" Talking about, aren't you a
realtor? Yeah, he's like, what does that have to do with knowing dog clothes etiquette? And she's like, it does have to do with that. It's like,
and I'm scared of dogs. So for me, I'm just like, just don't bring the dog close to me and we're good.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of dogs, but also I'm so indifferent. It would have like, I would be the one who forgot Milo was in the house. Like, huh? What dog? But I understand this meant a lot to Mariah. It's just that she was never going to get the the reaction she wanted from Amir.
Yes.
The other cool thing is that this party from Nick is going to be dedicated to his fallen line brother. He has his line brother passed away from drowning, actually. And so he uses this party to kind of honor him, and it's very nice. It's very Nick coded. Everybody's they're dressed really well. There's good music. He does do a toast to his line brother. He talks about how the number 5 was his line brother's number when he pledged. So in order for the uninitiated, they're lined up in order, and his line brother was the 5th one in line. So that guy, since he was a number 5, Nick has been noticing that 5 is coming up a lot more in his life, where he came in 5th place in the 5K. And the one time he got in his last race, he clocked in at 5:55. So the number 5 is popping up a lot. And to Nick, that means, like, hey, that maybe it's a sign of me remembering my line brother, remembering somebody who like I felt was really close to me or something like that. And I thought this was pretty cool. Sasha, I know you got a kick out of this, because I was like, this feels like, because Sasha, you be tapped in, and I feel like you would notice stuff like this.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, I feel like the number 4 follows me a lot, and it's actually my line number as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's why, and I ran the 400 in like high school. It's just, anyway, it's very interesting how that show. Listen, Beyonce, we the same, not the same. But it's true. So I really understand that. I think that dreams and like these like signs are a way for folks to communicate with you.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool. So we do have to briefly talk about the HBCU culture in
Oh,
this
I loved it.
episode.
Yes.
Yeah, so they talk about what it means to be a line brother, and we really get into the explanation about these Black Greek lettered organizations that they're a part of, right? So Nick gives a rundown. He says there's 9 of the quote unquote divine 9. There's the Black Greek lettered organizations, and of the 9, Nick is a part of Kappa Alpha Psi. We see that Noelle is in the house as well. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. And then Preston, of course, is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. And so they list all of the organizations and talk about how, the party culture that they have at HBCUs and the history of these organizations being at the parties and strolling and stepping as a way of entertaining back when, a lot of these colleges didn't have DJs and stuff. So they would use the steppers as a way to, this is the fun and games at the party, right? And so that culture has lived on at HBCUs and at non-HBCUs, really, because those organizations
I was like, we were strolling, and we are part of the sorority I was part of was not a Divine 9, but it was a multicultural Greek organization, and even then, it has come into our cultures as well. We do not step, but strolling has.
Yeah, and it has become such a big part of college life for people of color, for sure. It starts with Black Greek letter organization, but like you said, there's so many different multicultural organizations as well that do this, and so we see them shimmying and strolling at the party. We see the AKAs doing their thing, including Destiny and Noelle, and then we see Nick and Alex doing their thing, shimmying. There are no Omegas in sight, and that's how you know it wasn't a real party.
You have to get on the show.
I don't want to be on the show. They could be like, you the one on the podcast, calling us raggedy. It was me. But yeah, I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity.
I could be your friend that shows up.
You could be the +1. Yeah, and then yes. Okay, we're gonna plot. But
I'll help you host the party too.
Yeah, I'll be like, Sasha's the only one who got up and watched me and helped me host the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not a party if the Q's ain't there. And as the Q's,
you know what? It's a different party. I'll tell y'all that.
It's not a party if the Q's ain't there. So whatever this little function is Nick threw together, that was cool. But it ain't a party.
How did you feel about Amir, the Kappa interest?
They called Amir a Kappa interest, and I said that's disrespectful because we don't know if that boy ever cared about being a Kappa. We don't know that. They was being messy.
That was shade.
Period. Yeah, that was shade. Yeah.
Excuse me, if it were my GDIs, my goddamn independence. Right? If you didn't know, if someone at this big age calls you an interest, your friendship over.
Right, they talking noise, but yeah, they're basically telling Amir that he wants to be a Kappa, but he don't have what it takes to actually go become one, and so he's just gonna look from the sidelines and tell everybody that, man, I could have been one of those.
Why was he trying to do the shimmy like that though? Oh my god, I died. Again, as someone that has been a shimmy stan, I think that's what they call them. The people watch. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you do be like, oh, I could do it. And then you look like an idiot. Don't try.
I think everybody should just stop shimmying. Everybody, the SG Rose can continue to shimmy.
Do it.
But
especially the SG Rose can continue Sam to shimmy. Whiteout.
Yes, no, but everybody else stop shimmying. See, that the bros, we don't shimmy, we don't stroll. We hop, and that's it.
Oh, in that way. Okay, I was like, what do you mean?
It.
I was like,
we don't shimmy and stroll.
3 moves right now.
Yeah, no, we hop, and that's what I said. This all this ain't a party. Mm-hmm. All this is not a party. It ain't a party until the purple and gold.
If
show
the
up.
Omegas are there, ladies, just
that means
it's them, and that's great too.
Because it's a whole party once we show up, and that's the problem. That was missing. You were missing some.
The lights were on because the Omegas weren't there. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Because it's safe to turn the lights off when the wholesome people get there. See, that's what I'm saying. So, all that to say, good wholesome HBCU fun. Nick went to Tuskegee and pledged Kappa Alpha Psi, the same chapter that Davey from Survivor pledged, and so I'm pretty sure he knows him pretty well.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, and so this was a fun thing to watch. We got to watch. That's the thing that stuck out to me for Martha's Vineyard, as far as Summer House goes, is that drama aside, you do learn so much about things that are very important to a lot of Black people. Everybody, like being a part of a Black Greek letter organization is not for everybody. Everybody's not going to be a fan of it, as you might have heard in the news lately or in social media. But like the idea that Summer House needs to highlight that, it does make me very happy to be talking about the show, because there are a lot of good things that have come from Black Greek letter organization, a lot of civil rights activists, a lot of activism and service has come from it as well, because these organizations do not stop at graduation. They actually increase the amount of stuff that you should be doing once you've graduated, because now you have the time, the resources, the money, and the connections to make noticeable change in your community. So, that's my spiel for the BGLOs.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to the bros, wherever y'all at listening to this. Bro. So somebody had to talk.
This is where when Omegas graduate. This is what happens.
Yeah. This is what happens when we graduate. Because we graduate. If we graduate, we're gonna make it look good, baby. Every time. Okay. Every time. But Sasha, anything else? Anything we missed?
No.
We got to talk about the Flamingo gate. We have to talk about.
I just blocked it because that was triggering.
Foolishness. Yeah. Sasha brought it up earlier. Your +1 needs to be a +1. Simon comes downstairs in the Flamingo because Simon likes attention. And this party, that's just the way Simon parties. He's like, how do I become the center of attention? Do I got to jump in the pool fully dressed? Do I have to jump up on the counter? How do I make myself seen? And I think for him, it's like cultural. He's he's struggling to fit in. He's trying to figure out how to get in here. Y'all say it's a party. Everybody's dressed very nice. That's not really how I party. Everybody's dancing in lines. What happened to the people who are going to do the crazy thing? Where does Simon get in? How does he get in where he fits in? But this pisses Bria off to no end. They have a huge fight about it. They almost break up. And then we find out that in the past, Bria has had to navigate Simon's functions as a Black woman in Germany, and it has not been good for her. And she's trying to explain to him that he doesn't understand or see when she is on the other end of what happens when she's at those functions, but she always tries to make it accommodating for him when he's at her functions. Why was it so triggering you, Sasha?
No, okay. So I have never dated, I believe. Yeah. I've never dated a non-person of color. Never dated a white person. So I don't know, but this is why I feel like I can see why it has never worked out for me, because I just think, even though I'm not Black, obviously, and on top of that, he's dating a dark-skinned Black woman. So there's a lot more layers to that as well. But even then, it's just, I feel like it's so frustrating to watch him do that. Disrespect, right? Like, what's going on? I feel like when you're at a party, you have to read the room, right? And if they're strolling and maybe they were stepping, but I don't think so, right? I think they were just strolling. Either way, I think they're honoring someone, and it was giving like the white frat boy. And I say this because, listen, I went to Oklahoma. Like, I went to school there. Greek life is huge at my school. So you could see like when, the vibes were off because like people that weren't supposed to be there and didn't understand that they're the +1, like take over and kind of act like, a little bit more like a Chad or whatever, the stereotypical, right? Like Chad. And you're just like, that's not the vibe of this. This is a celebration. This is, part of that is like a celebration of someone's life, and showing up in like this hot mess flamingo costume doesn't check out. And I feel like this is where Greek life has helped me really understand, the world in that way, to be like, oh, you really have to like know your place. And that's not a bad thing. And you can be yourself. But I think if you're coming into someone else's space, you have to act accordingly. And that's why it was triggered. And then Bria's telling him, hey, here's all the things that have happened to me when I'm out with you. He did not say sorry.
No.
That happened to you.
Yeah. And even then she says, I brought it to you in the moment. It's like, you always miss it. Somebody told her, what was the quote? I didn't know he was into indigenous women.
Yes.
Like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, even if you thought that Bria was a quote unquote indigenous woman, when you would say into it, like you didn't think he had
happened to me. Someone said, I'm into exotic chicks.
You're exotic from what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's just, what does that mean?
No, and this is why I just personally couldn't. Not that I'm saying they aren't like aware people. I'm not painting with a broad brush, but I feel like nuances are missed
Yeah.
It is how it is, because it's our lived experience versus someone that has to learn it. So I'm
Mhm.
not like shaming Simon. I'm just saying, if your partner comes up to you and says this, you would just have to be like, shit, I gotta do better and I need to learn. And I'm
Mhm.
so sorry that happened to you. I feel like that's basic. And
Yeah.
he's German, right?
Yeah, and I think that might be a part of the issue too,
I just feel
because
like Germans gotta understand more than most countries.
yeah, specifically, yeah, based on their past with race and some of the more problematic sides of the history of Germany, you would think that you
Yes.
would be more tapped into that kind of stuff, but
And they
also
make it like they're very
they make
like
a
it's
conscious
important.
effort as a
Yes, thank
society
you.
to acknowledge those things for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's not African American. I mean, like,
Mhm.
so like, and he's not white American either. So he might be tapped into, the things and the
Oh, I see
atrocities
what you
of
mean. Okay.
German history. But when Bria starts talking about like, no, I'm a black woman, he like black, indigenous, whatever, like it's not the same. She's like, no, this is very different. It's very different. And when people make those offhanded comments, othering you, calling you black, indigenous, exotic, when you are just a person who came here to date this person and you're using it as a way to separate that person, like, oh, so she's different, she's black, she's indigenous, she's exotic,
Mhm.
I didn't know you was into that kind of thing. What kind of thing? I'm a human being, like the blackness, the indigenous side, it doesn't go away, but it's not something that you can use as a talking point to discuss why you would be into me or not. Especially when it's a white conversation versus a black conversation. You know what I'm saying? If it's like that, just based on historical context, it does feel like it is targeting. It feels like you're coming at me in a way that I don't know how to react to this. And I'm in Germany when this happens, so it's not like I can turn to the other black people in the room for
Correct.
to console me. I'm looking to my partner to console me. And Simon, you have not been doing a good job at it. So
And
yeah,
again,
this
if
was
you
tough.
decide to date someone that is different from you, and insert whatever different that may be, right? Like it could be as simple as a man and like gender, and not even
Mhm.
race. Even that, like my husband is is South Indian. They are darker skin, and colorism in India is like, listen, out of control. It's the worst. But anyway, and this is like in a consolidated effort that I have to make, that my family isn't like, being colorist, or, saying something that was a joke and maybe it was fine. But now that I'm married to someone, I'm more attuned to like, oh, like
Yeah.
this really could be an issue. And I can see how like that's offensive. We shouldn't be saying this stuff. So I just feel like
Mhm.
that's part of loving your partner, is like
Yeah.
learning what, how you can, where you're the majority, right? Whatever that may mean, it in community, you have to play defense for them, not baby them, but like you have to play defense. It's ridiculous.
Right. And I just think it's your responsibility to show up for the people that you care for,
Yes.
right? So it's like, even if you're not married to them or whatever, learn the things
Mhm.
that that make them special, and the things that also could harm them. And then that way you are a part of their support system, right? And that you're not one of the many things that are tearing this person down, because we all have our thing. We all have some way that we are a victim to white supremacy culture, right? And
And
so it's
white
like,
people
yeah,
are too. Let's
and
make
white
that
people are
clear.
too.
Yeah.
Yes, like I said, we all are. And
Mhm.
so it's like to find to figure out what it is that harms that person, and then make sure you're not doing the same thing and perpetuating those ideas. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think you're supposed to know, okay, boom, these are the things that don't fly. And then that way, not only do you know I have your back, but you can see me actively protecting you when this stuff comes up
Yep.
organically.
And that's
So
just what you do. You're right. Like I was just giving this example, but you're right. Like if you don't do that for your friends, like you're still not great.
it's not a great friend, yeah. So that's it. That's a wrap.
Yes.
Season 2, episodes 7 and 8. A lot of drama, a lot of mess, and we
Yes.
got one more episode to talk about because the
2,
finale is upon us. Yeah,
finale and
two more
a reunion.
finale and reunion. Yeah. And so we will be bringing you that as a double episode like we normally do. Episodes 9 and 10
Mhm.
it should be out very soon. And so in the meantime, Sasha, thank you again for being here. Tell everybody what you're working on.
Yes, thanks for having me. Again, this has just been such a joy to talk with you. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at funsize_04 for everything I'm doing. I talk celebrity, mess, gossip, honestly, vibes only. You can come check that out on Mess Magnets, where Kirsten and I are just chatting about the world. This week we chat about WNBA relationship drama, and we talked about Bridgerton and Kelly Rowland. Listen, so much Little Mess. Go check that out on Rob has a website /mess feed. Chappell and I, of course, for all you Bravo girlies, are also talking Below Deck. We're getting close to that finale as well. So check that out on the Bravo TV Wrap Up feed or on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube channel. And something new that just dropped as we were chatting on this podcast is Taryn Armstrong and I are covering Jet Lag, the game, where it's a Amazing Race meets Taskmaster type of YouTube show. So it's free for you to watch. It's on Jet Lag the Game. That's their YouTube channel. And Taryn and I are doing like fun short reactions to it. So check that out and more things in the works. So thank you again. What about you, Chappell?
Well, you can find me here on recapkickback.com. Last week, we dropped our episode of Black Twitter, A People's History, where I was joined with Nicole Weaver and Jay West and Tyrone, of course, to talk about that Hulu documentary. And we got much more coverage on Recap Kickback coming your way, including our Abbott Elementary finale recap and other various content. So check it out. Subscribe to recapkickback.com and go to recapkickback.com/subscribe to join our whole recap community here. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel as we are approaching 1,000 listeners. But for Sasha and myself, you ain't got to go home, but Recap Kickback is over. Martha's Vineyard is over, and we will see you all next time. Bye.